Let's see. All right. All right. We're live now. So cool. Let's see if we get people in here at some point. But anyway, man, I guess let's start chopping it up. What did well? I need to know what was your what was going through your mind when the game was going on against the Rams when y'all were playing the Rams?
Oh, the game against the against the Rams, man. Just the
Yeah.
way we started off, it was a slow start, and I was kind of losing hope a little bit. But when we started playing second half football, we started playing with some consistency out there. Jimmy was having a slow start. It was kind of concerning me about his thumb a little bit. And then when we started playing into the second half, he started finding some chemistry and some groove over there. I mean, the Rams defense was definitely giving us some issues for a little while, and then we started figuring out ways to run the ball, and that's been our bread and butter is running the ball. And at first, our running game was very slowing down at the beginning. Now it started finishing out strong. I felt like the receivers started stepping up. Debo started becoming the X factor as expected. And that's what got me off surprise was we were able to come from a 17-point deficit and actually win the game in overtime.
Yeah, bro. Like when that game was going on, I was at work, right? So I'm at work and I'm kind of like thumbing through the games on my phone on my TV app that I have where I'm watching NFL Red Zone. So it's kind of going back and forth through the games. And I see y'all are down 17-0. And I was like, man, F this shit, man. I turned it off because I was like, man, I need the 49ers to win because y'all are actually the team, in my opinion, that I want, that I feel like we're better suited for than the other teams. We already played the Cardinals. We lost. I'm not worried about them. I'm scared about them, but I don't want to go against them again right now. The Rams, I feel they're very inconsistent. At least their quarterback's inconsistent. So it's like, do I want to go against Stafford and all these other guys and then face that defense right now with that kind of like a hit or miss? He's inconsistent right now. Do I want to go against that? No. Or do I want someone like Jimmy G, who's also inconsistent the way Dak is? The offense, it can be a hit or miss depending on what Jimmy G's got. So when y'all came back and won, I was excited. Not to mention the nostalgia that's going on right now with the Cowboys and the Niner fans, reminiscing about the early days when we both were dominating. That is so much fun. I'm having a blast right now, and it's only what's today? Wednesday. It's only Wednesday, and I'm having a blast with everything that's going on.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think the one thing I was looking forward to when we got into the playoffs, I was already like hoping that we can play you guys, man. It's like, hey, man, I don't care for the rest of those other teams. I don't care for the Rams. I don't care for the Cardinals. I want the Cowboys at whatever it takes. I mean, even with the Cardinals losing to the Seahawks, that kind of got us that spot against you guys. So that was the one X factor was even if we won the game, we would still have a chance to at least play between the Bucks or the Rams or Cardinals, but when it came down to Seattle actually beating the Arizona Cardinals, that put us in that spot to play you guys. So it
Yeah.
was just it made me smile, and I'm like, damn, this is going to be a good playoff game. This has got better ratings and better revenue written all over it. Like it should have went into a Monday night playoff game instead of this prime time, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it. To me, to be honest, I don't think we should be on CBS. This has Fox written. This should be Fox written all over it, not the Bucks and the Eagles. That should have been the CBS game. We have the Fox, the nostalgia, everything that's going for us. You don't see two Titans like this play each other that often in the playoffs, especially with the history we have. Dwight Clark the catch, the triplets for the Cowboys. Y'all have not ever beaten. I don't think y'all have ever beaten us in our home turf in the playoffs. This is a huge game for the Cowboys and the 49ers. Dynasty in the 70s for the Cowboys, dynasty in the 80s for the Niners. We took back over in the 90s, and now we are two teams on the rise right now. And it should have been a better game. If not a Fox game, but for sure a primetime game Monday night.
Yeah, like you said, there's just a great story franchise between those two teams. Like both have 5 Lombardis. Both of them have been like the most dominant team for a while. But lately, you guys have been the team that's been going playoffs every now and then. But ever since we had the hardball era as our head coach, he started taking us to playoffs. And then Kyle Shanahan, it took some time. 2019 was our form of year where we started becoming very good. I didn't have that much high expectations, but then this season, I said if we can stay healthy, we have a decent chance to at least make it to the playoffs, but I wasn't really sure about the consistency of Jimmy Garoppolo. As long as Jimmy plays smart and this running game gets pretty good, I think we have a better chance to make some noises in the playoffs. But I feel like you guys do have a really good challenging when it comes to your offense. I mean, you got these triplet receivers. Even though Michael Gallup's out there, I still think you have another good receiver as in Cedric Wilson. He's very underrated. He's kind of like another receiver that's kind of stepped up for you guys, even when Michael Gallup's been out. So I feel like that's another challenge right there is him. And then you got Amari Cooper when he's at his best. This guy can be very unstoppable. But then when you look at CeeDee Lamb, he's been very reliable at times. He's been the best receiver in the draft, in my opinion. But then I'd be like delusional because I'm an Oklahoma fan. But I look at like the stat wise, I think he's been your best receiver this year. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a quiet 1,000-yard season. I haven't really looked at all the stats right now because I'm not much of a stat guy. I only kind of use stats when it kind of proves my point. But other than that, like I'm not one for stats, just because I don't feel stats tell the whole story of a game. I mean, you played football, you played sports, I played sports. I honestly don't feel stats play the whole story, that show the whole story of the game. But CeeDee Lamb has been one of our. He's been reliable, but he's also been inconsistent with. I don't want to say he's leading the team with drops, but I see him drop at least 1 or 2 passes a game that he should have, and that's because he's a guy that he's ready to go upfield and run, and he's trying to catch the ball without looking. He's trying to get the ball before the ball comes in his hands. He's already looking upfield, getting ready to see where he's about to take off. And that's where most of his drops come from. Because when you see him go up and get the ball and he doesn't need to run, he's jumping up for the ball, taking a big hit, he's coming down with it more often than not. So he's reliable in some situations, but inconsistent in other. But he's been one of our biggest targets this year. And what helps us out also is our run game with Tony Pollard and Zeke. Zeke has been on a little bit of a decline, a little bit. I mean, he's averaged about, I think it's less than 60 yards a game, but you have that change of pace with Tony Pollard, and that's going to be a real difference maker. I think that's going to be one of our X factors right there, along with Cedric Wilson, like you were speaking on earlier. Cedric Wilson is now one of our only better receivers. He's probably one of our better quarterbacks. There's plays that Kellen Moore that has in his bag of tricks where Cedric Wilson usually throwing the ball downfield to CeeDee Lamb for a big play. So, and I know y'all the same way. Shanahan does the same thing with Debo, right? Isn't he? He fucking runs the ball, passes the ball. He does it all for y'all, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does everything. Like he's kind of been the guy that's run pretty solid routes too. And he's kind of been the guy that when running backs were injured or something like that, he was able to step up as a running back. Or if we weren't able to get the running game going, we would always mix it up with Debo, and Debo's been an effective running back. I mean, you can make an argument that he is a complete player. Like you can place him at running back if you need to, or you just saw some display when he did against the Rams, throwing that 25-yard touchdown pass. He showcased he can play that. He can throw the ball too. I mean, Debo's just everything. He's got 18 total touchdowns, I believe, this season, and that's pretty impressive. I mean, the guy's just he's a weapon. Like, I think the hard part is how you going to stop him is the question. Can you stop him as a runner, or can you stop him as a wide receiver, or heck, a gadget playing quarterback? That's the tough part.
I mean, it's going to be tough stopping any gadget playing quarterback, especially when you have those trick plays. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you've seen it with Cedric Wilson. First of all, I want to give a shout out to the man right here, Bird Gang 31. Without any of this, without him, none of this is possible right here. The man who has this all set up, allowing us to come on here and have our collabs and speak, growing this network that we got going on right here. But with that being said, Debo, it's going to be tough to stop because, I mean, we have a good run stopping defense, but our pass defense is kind of iffy. It's going to be tough, even though Diggs does have 11 interceptions. It's going to be exciting, and Dan Quinn's going to have to come with his bag of tricks to disguise a lot of things to get Deebo Samuels out of the game, like make him a non-factor. It's gonna take a lot of blitzing, a lot of rushing on the quarterback. I think, in my opinion, when you see Deebo Samuels in motion, I think that's whatever gap is open. I think is you need to send. Oh, he's gone. He left. I don't think he can hear me. I don't know what happened to him. Well, this is supposed to be a show between him and I. So, here we go. He's coming back. Can you hear me?
Happened, I guess.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Something happened, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. No, what I was just saying was
somebody with the reception issues. I think some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. I guess something happened. Oh yeah. So like the way you were saying about how it's hard to stop Debo in a lot of different ways and a lot of your player gadgets, like all that stuff. It's kind of a very viable versatility about this offense. Like, there's a lot of different ways how you can stop us, but it's kind of hard to figure out how to stop a certain player of that caliber. But you guys have been average against the run. I've seen how you guys have tested against the run, but you guys have the very good defense. Your pass rush is like really good. You got a lot of these guys on like that can step into rotation.
Damn. I guess his connection's bad. I guess it's going to be one of these streams. Well, while he's doing that, I am going to wait for him to come back. Is he back yet? Nope. I don't know what happened. What happened here? Where'd he go? We have no idea. My phone keeps going off. Don't know why. All right, guys. I guess, I don't know. We may have to restart this. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. I like this. So you know what? Let me clipboard this shit and let me send it to him again. Maybe this time it will be better. Paste, send. Maybe this time it'll be better. We'll see. Well, while he's restarting his stuff, let's just keep talking. So, Cowboys have the Niners this week, Sunday, obviously. It's going to be a very competitive match. I am very excited about what's about to transpire and what's about to go down. The nostalgia, everything that's going on. Well, you know what? Fuck this shit. Why do I have this going on while he is out? Because what we need is this shit right here. I'm sorry. This needs to go down because we're not. No, he's gone right now. Okay, here we go. Here he comes. Here he comes. All right, you're back?
Man.
Okay.
Yeah, my apology. I couldn't hear you good.
That's all right. No big deal. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. He's gone. I'm going to put up my shit. But now you're back. I want to put your stuff up since you're the one that made the stream. But anyway, what you were saying was it's time for drink 30, by the way. But what you were saying was about Deebo Samuel. So please continue.
Yeah. Deebo Samuel does give you guys issues for sure. I mean, it's a different kind of player. It's not like some ordinary receiver, like definitely a running back you can have to contain for. I mean, when you look at your matchups, Dallas Cowboys' run defense has kind of been the most questionable mark, but then you guys do have the pass rush. You got Michael Parson, who was he's a phenomenal rookie, probably one of your best rookie pass rushers by far. I mean, this guy is rookie of the year in my opinion. He's been putting out some insane pressures. Then you look at guys like Brandon Gregory. He's kind of been really solid in rotation. And then you got DeMarcus Lawrence coming healthy, I guess, because he's been injured for a while. And that could be the issue for our offensive line because we've played solid against certain teams with their pass rush, but you guys have the most talented guys when it comes to the rotation. I mean, there's just a lot of good guys. You got that Torrance Armstrong, whatever his name is. That's another guy that you guys got in your rotation. There's quite a few other pieces on your defense that could give you some. Yeah, there you go. Another guy too.
Yeah. We got a solid defensive line. We got a solid defensive line. I think our X factor on defense, we got two actually. We got to see how Diggs is going to do against Debo. I most likely think he's going to be following him wherever he's at. There's no way we're going to stick Anthony Brown on him or Jordan Lewis or even Calvin Joseph, the rookie. So I really think that it's going to be Trayvon Diggs guarding up against Samuel. And I honestly think, this is just me being a fan, but this is also me being kind of a realist here with the inconsistency of Jimmy G and the pass rush of Michael Parsons. I really think there's going to be a play or two where Jimmy's going to have to rush the ball to get out, and it's going to cause him to get a bad pass going towards Debo. And we already know how Diggs is against those bad passes. But on the same token, Debo likes to do those double moves, and Diggs likes to jump those double moves. So he might get burnt also. It can go either way.
It could, because Diggs, he is an opportunist. He can definitely capitalize when opportunities come, but there's been some holes of his game where he's kind of been burning coverage when he's out of position at times. I mean, he's always in a good position to get the ball, but it's like this guy has, like, you can say stats or like whatever, but I look at his stats and it's a little overrated because, like you said, he gets beat in coverage. But when it comes down to the interceptions and all the other stuff he plays, he's phenomenal. But I feel like Debo does have a good matchup against him. I feel like those two can have a really good matchup. Physicality, I think those both guys can match up really well. I mean, I think that would be the match of the year is Debo and Diggs going one-on-one. It's like, it's something I like. These two guys, they're both good at their position. They're both very capable. Like, what do you think of those matchup between those two?
Between who again?
Between Diggs and Debo.
Oh, like I was saying earlier, it's going to be a fun matchup. It's going to be it's going to be very interesting because both, it's going to come down to who is more disciplined, who's the smarter player. But it's also going to be how is Debo going to be used also is going to depict on what Diggs is going to do. But it's going to be very interesting because, you do have a guy who gets, burnt, right, with those double moves. But you also have a quarterback who is inconsistent in his throws. And like I said, if Jimmy G has a couple of inconsistent throws or he's being rushed and trying to get the ball out of his hand so he doesn't take a sack, I honestly believe that, that's where Trayvon Diggs is going to jump a route or two and come away with the interception. I'm not one for predictions really too much unless I'm asked, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a pick six somewhere. I'm not saying who, I'm just saying someone. One of the two teams is going to have. Because I was listening to your talk a little bit with Cybus, and I agree. It's going to be a very close game where someone's going to get blowed the fuck out. It's going to happen.
Yeah, one or the other.
Yeah. There's not going to be 10-14, 17-21, like, oh, it's a close game, like 17-28. No, this is either going to be a 21 to 28 point victory, or it's going to come down to 4 to 5 points, even 3 points. Someone's going to have the final drive, and it's either going to be stopped or they're going to get the win.
Yeah, one or the other. It's one of those games. But, like Like Dak Prescott is gonna have to come down to him playing his best game. I think if he plays like the way he's been playing, I think there's a good chance. But looking at the fact our defense, I'm more concerned about our secondary. Like you guys don't really take as much deep shots on the field with your receivers, from what I'm looking at. You guys are probably the ones that do it every now and then. But if you guys want to have a chance to beat us, you gotta take those deep shots. Our secondary's they led the lead with most penalties when it comes to PI, and that's what you guys should do is take those deep shots and maybe you get those free yardage.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We take the least deep shots I've ever seen this, as a Cowboy fan. But I think that's just Kellen Moore's style, which is but right now it's very vanilla and very You see those wide receiver screens coming from a mile away, which is why we struggled a lot against Arizona. I mean, Buda Baker saw that wide receiver screen where he almost had a pick six going the other direction. Yeah, he almost picked it off because he saw that. He studied, he did his homework, and he saw the way we were lined up, and he knew what it was. We got to get away from those wide receiver screens. You look at that stuff, and I feel that this is just Scott Linehan, Jason Garrett 2.0, 3.0, because when we had Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan, we saw a lot of that crap. Those wide receiver screens that got us absolutely nothing, and we're doing that more and more. And I just can't understand it when you have three guys who can take the top off, who can go up and get the ball, do 50-50 balls. You put it in the right spot, they're going to come down with it. I mean, they're top dogs for a reason at the wide receiver position, and you're not putting these guys in a position to go up and get the ball. I mean, it's painful to watch at times because we don't go down the field, and I think we should.
Yeah, you guys should. I mean, that's kind of been the weakness of us. If you've seen what the Rams were able to do, they were able to do stuff like that. There's been teams like Green Bay and quite a few other teams that have done that, and they've had success against that secondary. But if you're just going to keep going to those short passes, more than likely our secondary is probably going to be doing a solid job at times. But if it were just the Cowboys, I would figure out any other way to try to expose that secondary, especially Mosley and quite a few other guys. I know some of you guys are kind of thinking that we might start Norman. Nope. We're going to start this rookie, Avery Thomas. That's the one guy. It's a rookie from Michigan. He's gotten better since we played this guy. He was coming in slowly. He's kind of improved as the season went on. You might need to test him out a little bit and see how it goes. And Mosley, he's solid. You might have to take your chances with him. I mean, yeah. Williams, very solid nickel.
See, I feel like now that you told me you're the rookie, I have a feeling that we are going to pick on him a little bit, especially if you got CeeDee Lamb and Coop. Because I mean, even Cedric Wilson, I mean, is that rookie going to be like starting on the other side of Mosley? Like he's going to be a starter?
From what I'm looking at, like I'm seeing him kind of outplaying Josh Norman, so it's a possibility. He's been getting more of it.
A lot of people outplayed Josh Norman. I'm surprised he's even on the team. But with that being said, I mean, he probably not on the level. I mean, I don't know who he is. I've never seen him play, but to think that going into a playoff game, a game of this magnitude with the history that we have behind us, do you think that rookie has enough talent to step up and stop someone like CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper? Or do you think the route running of Amari Cooper is going to torch this kid? And a Cooper, if he's lined up on opposite of that rookie, he's going to have a field day.
It depends on what matchup it is. Like if you just give him somebody like a Cedric Wilson or a CeeDee Lamb, I think that would be a decent matchup. But I think for like Amari Cooper, you put him against the rookie, I think, like you said, more than likely he might just burn him in the route running. So that can be one of the others. But yeah, that's going to be the only concerning factor. But I'm starting to feel more confident with Avery Thomas now. Like I feel like at the beginning of the season, there was question marks about him, but he started to get all the experience. He was coming off of this year where he opted out from Michigan with COVID, and then he started shaking off the game rust, and now I'm seeing a little bit of his potential. he's kind of been in certain positions where he's kind of made some certain plays. Like he just made the key interception against the Rams, and he was in better position. So I feel like the more he plays, the better. As long as we don't put Dante Johnson out there, that's been my most concerning factor is Dante Johnson getting some playing time. Please get that guy out of the field, please.
Dante Johnson is what? Is it defensive back?
Yeah, he's like our other cornerback that we've been putting out there.
Oh, okay. So from what I'm hearing, I know you already said it, that your corners, your defensive backs are your weakest spot on your team. I mean, how do you feel? What's that guy's name that y'all drafted in the first round? I wanted him as a Cowboy a couple of years ago. I think y'all took him, and then we ended up getting CeeDee Lamb, defensive tackle. What's his name?
Javon Kinlaw.
Kinlaw. How do you think he's going to fare against him and your D-line? How do you think he's going to fare against our offensive line?
Unfortunately, he's not even playing. He's on IR.
Oh, he's not?
I mean,
okay.
He's not even playing.
Okay. Well, my dumb ass should have done my. But anyway, how do you think your defensive line is going to fare against our offensive line? I mean, with the struggles that you've already seen, we're one of the most penalized team. I think our offensive line is one of the most penalized teams. For the offensive line, if you combine all the offensive line, we're the most penalized, and we're very inconsistent in our play. Because we haven't started our top five for. We've been this year playing mismatch with a lot of our guys, starting this guy here, starting that guy there. We've never really truly had our top five guys, and I just want to know your take on your defensive line. Well, what do you see happening there?
Well, on this matchup against your offensive line, I think it's going to be a pretty solid matchup. Bosa versus Tyron Smith, that's the one matchup I definitely like to look forward to between those two. I want to see if Nick Bosa can actually handle Tyron Smith in this matchup. DJ Jones, I think he's kind of been the most underrated player on our defensive line. You look at guys like Eric Armstead. I don't understand why you got to put him at the outside when he's slow as hell, but when you put him at the inside, he's very effective. Like he can be a very good run stopper. Not quite the flashy pass rusher, but he gets the job done. He's not in the same level as DeForest Buckner was, which no offense to him, but he's at least decent enough to get the job done. I mean, you look at guys like Arden Key, if you put him in those rotational plays, he can really get to that quarterback. He's got the most quarterback pressure from our team. Like he had some moments where he was very close to getting to that quarterback. Then you got guys like Samson Ebukam. He's like another guy, very fast, very quick off the edge. And then you got this Jordan Willis, another speedster too. I mean, I feel like the matchup against the Cowboys, I think you guys have a better offensive lineman than the Rams. I mean, I feel like you guys might be able to hold your own a little here and there, but I think we might be able to get some pressure a little on Dak. It depends if he runs or not,
Yeah, no, I feel like the pressure is going to come. I feel like this is too big of a game for you not to get pressure. I mean, if that makes sense. Because, I mean, everyone plays better. I mean, we're talking about NFL players here. So I think that these guys thrive under pressure. Well, most of them, most of them thrive under pressure. And, I mean, y'all didn't get to where y'all were by not thriving under pressure. I mean, y'all made the playoffs. I mean, it's a very tough thing to do, especially with a lot of the NFC being close. By one or two games, I mean, the Eagles found a way to make the playoffs, right? I mean, y'all got, I don't want to say luck, but if y'all had lost and the Saints had won, it would have been a different story. The Saints would have been in, I mean, I think y'all played a very good game. You coming back, Jimmy G showing some resilience. Playing in the in this game and coming back and getting that victory. I knew when Jimmy G went down and scored that tying touchdown and was taking it into overtime, I had a feeling that it just let all this air out of the sails of the Rams, and I knew something was going to happen to where either y'all ended up getting the field goal, but I didn't think they were going to come back and score in that last drive they had.
Yeah, it was momentum, and plus we know the Rams pretty well. We know them so well that it's just no joke. Like they can be the Super Bowl contending team, and we can just own them when we're just like a rebuilding team. It's like it doesn't matter which Niners team you're going to get against the Rams, because the Rams can be the best team in the world, but we always tend to beat them, just like Seattle beats us on a consistent basis. I mean, you guys have pretty much ran your division, so it's been kind of like a cakewalk for you guys this year when it comes to the NFC East. But when I look at your guys' matchup, it's been 5 against outside your division, but it kind of came down to some field goals. Like your kicker missed it and some crucial penalties. Like, what was the issue of that, man? You guys had opportunities to at least beat Tampa Bay at one point. You guys kind of blew away a game you guys should have won. You guys should have beat the Raiders. I mean, what was all that about, man?
Well, the Tampa game, and this is an argument I have with a lot of Cowboy fans because they want to sit there and blame the kicker, and I get it. The kicker missed an extra point and a field goal, which would have gave us the 4 points on the tie, right, that we would have had. Well, let's turn it the other way. You know, they want to sit there and say, well, the defense gave up X amount of points. The defense gave up X amount of points, but the defense for us also gave us 4 turnovers, which 3 of them we should have got points on, and more than just 3. I mean, if we score a touchdown on all three of those turnovers, 2 of them were inside on our side of the 50. One of them we had a drive on that stalled that we kicked a field goal. If we score on those, we win that game. But we stalled on the offense side of the ball. We had our kicker come out and give us 6 points. We could have had 21 off those turnovers because that 4th one was an interception at the end of the half that Anthony Brown ran back. They got he didn't score, but I mean there's a lot of X factors that go into how we blew that game, and then the Raiders game. I just knew it was going to be a weird type of game when what's the tight end for the Raiders?
Waller.
When he caught that ball, he took like 3 steps and then he gets fumbled. A fumble happens and New York tells the refs, it's not a fumble. I knew it was going to be a weird game. And then we had an opportunity in overtime where Dak had Noah Brown wide open on a third down and he throws it at his feet. I mean, there was a lot of opportunity for us to win these games, but our offense, again, we could say that that's Dak. I mean, yes, Dak was the one making the plays, making the throws, but that could have been the offensive scheme also in the play calling of Kellen Moore that, the way he's been calling that it, it was an issue for us.
Yeah, it's kind of been an issue with a little bit of your consistency. Like when you guys play your competition or your division, you guys were playing by far, like you guys were just taking over it. I don't know, like, how do you feel about McCarthy as a head coach? And then as far as him, like, I mean, I've seen his track record. He has a track record with the Packers winning a Super Bowl, but he inherited an Aaron Rodgers type team. So it's like, you look at what he's done lately. I don't know why he even bothered to get the job there. I feel like this team is kind of like they need an actual coach who can really rebuild a culture and make you guys really good. I feel like you guys are lacking a tough-nosed coach that's not a yes man.
Well, we've been lacking a tough-nosed coach like that for decades now already. 2 of them, right? Since Jimmy Johnson's left, we've had a yes man in Barry Switzer, and then you had Chan Gailey, and then you had it was a specialty. I forget Dave Campo. We had Bill Parcells, and I think we squandered our opportunity there, and then of course you have Jason Garrett, and then now you have Mike McCarthy. But on that same token with Mike McCarthy, we are 11-5, no matter how you slice it. Even though, to me, every win is not created equal. Just because you're 11-5, it all depends on how you got there. I mean, yeah, a win's a win, but if you're beating sloppy teams and then you're struggling against sloppy teams, to get there, it's going to be an issue when you actually play the very good teams. Like right now, the cream of the crop, of the NFL. But I think Mike McCarthy does deserve recognition for getting us 11-5 when we were just god-awful last year, even though he was our coach last year. But we didn't have Dak. Our defense was one of historically the worst I think the Cowboys have ever seen. Mike McCarthy had a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers hasn't had a Super Bowl without Mike McCarthy. So I mean, we could say he inherited an Aaron Rodgers team, but again, Aaron Rodgers won one with Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy won one with Aaron Rodgers, and they haven't won another one without each other. But of course, Mike McCarthy, this is his first coaching job since leaving Lambeau. So, but how do you feel about Shanahan? How do you like him as your coach?
Well, his play calling can be brilliant at times, but it can be very unpredictable. Like, he gets too cute. That's the only concerning factor about Shanahan is, like, when he's very creative, when he executes the plays, he's a genius when it comes down to it. Like, when he does those type of run plays, and then when he mixes up the play action plays, it gets pretty good. It brings you back that old school West Coast offense type thing we've been running. I mean, I feel like his coaching style can be good if his ego's kind of been hurting the team a lot. There's been costly games where his play calling's been the X factor of these games. Like, for example, when we were playing Seattle, there was chances we should have executed and been able to beat the Seahawks, but he was playing like very cute and stupid. And in the Cardinals game, he had no idea, like, it made him look like a fool. But when it comes down to playing teams like the Atlanta Falcons and teams like the Rams, he tends to show up and calls up a good play, and it really works. Like that one play, that trickery play by Debo, that was a brilliant play call. Or that one play where he threw it to Juwan Jennings, that was a really good setup play where it got executed and made the big play out of it. That's what you look at when you see a play caller like that make a good play out of those stuff. But I feel like he's always been a guy that's taken this team further, but the injuries of this team is the only reason why Shanahan gets questionable marks, because a lot of the players we get, they're never healthy. But this year, it's kind of been the most healthiest team we've had this year by far. Like, I feel like we have the ability to go further, but Shanahan, his ego has been the problem. And that's how I feel about him as a coach.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's a fair point. I mean, we've been at this for almost 40 minutes now, man. I mean, I had fun. I got some other things I got to do that we talked about.
No problem.
I had fun, man. Maybe, after this game, whatever happens. We can come. I do my show every Saturday. I know you got a lot of things going on. If you want to stop by, pop in, Saturday while I'm doing my show, that'd be great to have you, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man. And sorry for the reception. I guess something happened weird.
Nah, you're cool, man. It's no big deal. You have a nice night, man. Be safe. I'll talk to you later, bro. Later.